And we're going.
Is that our intro? And we're going.
Welcome again to the #Wild podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Susanna.
Thanks for coming back for episode 2. Pretty excited about this episode. Dive into more wild things. Boy, not cursing is...
It's really hard.
Very
you know
difficult.
what? Screw it. We're just gonna go with it. I kind of like the bleeping, not gonna lie. So we're just gonna roll with it.
I was told we missed some. Well, I missed some last episode, so we're just gonna not curse this episode, and then I won't have to beep anything.
We'll try.
I'm gonna try that. Anyway, hi guys. Thanks for coming back. This second episode might be a mess.
Part 2.
Long story short, we didn't have as much time to research this as...
That's the alien one?
Yeah. I spent a full 2 weeks on that research and maybe a couple days on this one. But it's still going to be a really good episode. We're doing cryptozoology.
Mm-hmm. Which ties into the aliens. I mean...
Absolutely.
Essentially. Same thing. But, like, we're going deeper into it, but with other creatures.
Sure, yeah. Some of the creatures we'll mention today have... Like, some of the theories on them are that they are aliens. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, or other planet.
But for the uninitiated, do we want to give a brief explanation of what cryptozoology is?
Yeah, we can give the definition.
Yeah. So cryptozoology is the study of cryptids. And cryptids are... not quite mythological creatures. They're creatures that...
It means hidden. It means hidden. Crypto.
Crypto means hidden. And then zoological, obviously. The study of animals. So the study of hidden animals would be the literalization of it.
Right. Like, we can't confirm or deny their existence.
That's really where the definition of cryptid is. It's an animal which we can't prove or disprove. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to be diving into a bunch of our favorites, but we're going to be skipping some of our not so favorites.
We'll touch on those, but we're probably not going to get into them.
Look, we're going to skip a big one.
And you guys might hate us for that.
Probably.
But that's okay, because we don't care.
We don't think very much of him. And
of him?
Them?
Sure.
I guess.
I mean, yeah, right? Has to be more than one.
Ish. Sure, but that's my big problem with Bigfoot anyway, is that...
Just get right into it.
Look, I guess we're not skipping it.
But... I guess we're not skipping it.
If there's so many of them, why haven't we found any dead ones?
Ooh, facts. Wait, but if they live in the woods... Okay, devil's advocate, plot twist. They live in the woods, so if they die, creatures around them just eat them. No? I mean, I don't care about Bigfoot. Like, I really don't.
No, wouldn't we have found a skeleton? Like, the creatures in the woods don't eat bones.
I don't know.
I guess there could be creatures in the woods that eat bones, but like... no bones ever? No, carcass ever?
Maybe they live in the deep-ass woods where no one goes.
Okay, anyway, neither of us like Bigfoot.
Yeah,
we're not
going
to talk about Bigfoot. Further. We're not going to talk about Yeti, which is basically the same creature.
It's like the polar bear of Bigfoot that no one cares about either.
Yeah.
I guess it's like the more vicious one, but fuck it, right?
Well, I think, isn't it just like the snowy one?
Oh. Is it?
I think so.
It's just the snowy one? I thought it was the more vicious one. Okay.
I think it just lives in the Alps instead of like the forest.
Okay, whatever. Location. Location is key.
Not the Alps. Jesus Christ. What am I
The Alps?
Alaska?
Alaska?
No, like the...
Canada?
No, the Mount Everest.
Appalachian?
What?
No.
What mountain range is Everest? It's in like Nepal, Tibet. I just can't name the mountain range. This is embarrassing. Anyway...
Nope, we didn't research that.
No, not at all. So we're not doing Yeti.
Nope. Nope.
We're also not doing things that are like too mythological, so we're not going to get into unicorns.
Yeah, we're not touching on unicorns. I just feel like there's no point. Like there's no horse out there that just like has... I'm sure there's a horse out there that had a horn at one point, but it's not going to grant you shit.
Right.
Stuff.
Magical creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So we're going to get into a few, and we'll tell you basic info on them. We'll probably have a little debate back and forth about at least a couple of them. Yeah. And we hope it'll get interesting. I definitely brought some interesting facts that I found about a few of these.
I just have my opinions. I just have opinions. That's all I brought.
So we'll get into it. Just so you know that we're not completely wasting your time, there are cryptids that have been like proven to exist.
Yes.
But once a cryptid is proven to exist, it's no longer a cryptid. Because
like a giant squid.
Yes.
That was the most recent one, right?
I don't know if it's the most recent per se.
It wasn't that long ago.
Pretty recent.
Yeah. Platypus was one.
There was one kind of gorilla, and I should have written this down.
Oh, I totally forgot which one it was. I know what you're talking about. There was like that zebra, horse, deer thing. The Ozique. Is it Ozique? Oh.
I don't know that one either.
I don't know. But it's real.
It is. It's got like zebra legs and like kind of a long neck. It's weird. But there are cryptozoological creatures that have been found and proven to be real. So some of these that we're discussing
debunked
could be real. I don't have my notes on paper this time, so I hope you guys will forgive me looking at my phone, but this is where my notes are this time.
Modern age stuff this time.
We'll be going back to paper at some point, I promise. Okay, so
which one are we starting with?
Anacondas were one that was thought to be mythological.
Were they really?
A cryptid. Yeah, they were
shit.
Cryptozoology for a while, and then we found them in the Amazon.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, do you want to get into the first one? Do you have anything else, like, intro-wise you want to cover?
Intro-wise. We did the debunking. What was the other one? I don't know. We talked about Bigfoot, how we don't care.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all.
No, not one bit. No, I guess let's just get into it. I'm sure we'll remember as we're talking about it.
Oh, Mothman. We're going to skip Mothman.
Oh, yeah, we don't care
about
about Mothman either.
We're going to skip a bunch of the really
big ones.
We're going to hit a couple that hopefully you don't know too much about. And then towards the end, the first one you'll know. And then towards the end, you'll know those two. We're going to kind of go off on a tangent on one of these for sure. But anyway.
Me.
Our first cryptid here. Yeah, well, so our first cryptid here is El Chupacabra.
Oh, yeah.
Love El Chupacabra. I think Chupacabra's like weirdly like, I don't know. I feel like it's the first cryptid that I was introduced to, maybe.
Was it really?
I think so. Just like when I was a kid,
the most random one.
I'm Hispanic, so it's like a Latin American tale to begin with. But
I mean, I'm Latin, but I'm a different type of Latin.
Right, you're European.
I'm European Latin.
No, for sure. Yeah. So El Chupacabra, plus it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's just in the cultural lexicon. It's pretty recent. Like the first Chupacabra stories started in 1995. Mm-hmm. But no, yeah, growing up, there was like all kinds of media devoted to Chupacabra. Like I remember specifically there's an episode of Dexter's Lab where he makes a Chupacabra and gets out. Yeah. Yeah, it's so cute. It's like this little thing, and it like gets out. He like made it,
cute.
And so, but no, yeah, and then it goes and like eats goats or whatever, and he has to go catch it. It's so great. But I think that was the first time I was like,
that's cool.
El Chupacabra, and then from there I like heard the actual legend. But yeah, so the legend of the Chupacabra is, of course, it's the goat sucker. Mm-hmm. That's literally what its name means. That's literally a
translation.
And it feeds on not just goats. I think the first mention of the Chupacabra was it feeding on sheep, not goats. Mm-hmm. But Chupacabras will basically suck the blood out of small farm animals, basically any small animal.
It'll like suck them dry.
Yeah,
like it's literally it leaves the organs, it leaves everything. That's just like 2 little holes. Well, 4, I guess, in the neck.
I've heard 2. I've heard 3.
Oh, I heard 4. Well, I guess 2 would make more sense, right?
It would be like fangs.
Like fangs.
3. I've heard like 3 triangular, which is weird.
That's
but yeah, there's a lot of there's not a lot of continuity between Chupacabra sightings.
Yeah.
Which it presents a problem. There are 2 separate, basically, species of Chupacabra, if you want to call them species.
2 different like myths, I guess, that like 2 different stories.
Yeah. So the first Chupacabra that this woman Madeline Tolentino came up with. I don't want to say she came up with the idea of it. But she was the first one to report a sighting of a Chupacabra. This was in 1995, Puerto Rico. And she described it. This is the Puerto Rican Chupacabra. This is actually like the original Chupacabra.
Yeah.
And she reported it as being bipedal, so standing on 2 legs, having a really large head, similar to like a gray, like an alien, like a gray.
Oh, okay.
With glowing red eyes and spikes coming out of its back. And I think it had, did she say 4 or 3 fingers? It was like 3-fingered hands.
This
and
is
it could
detailed.
like jump. Yeah. And it could like jump along. And then later on,
I just got goosebumps for no reson. But
later tellings of her story, she talks about how it like smelled.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah. But we'll get into her more later because the other version of the Chupacabra is the kind of Americanized version of the Chupacabra, which is much more like a dog. Like it does not walk on
dog
2 legs. It's
and I heard that its back legs were backwards. Like they didn't have the normal like dog legs. It was more like rabbit legs. Does that make sense? Like they had like almost like thumper feet. It wasn't like
they're just like really long.
What the fuck
just
happened? Go off? I don't know.
I guess we're doing this again, guys.
Commercial break.
Be right back. And we're back.
Our bad.
Yeah, so this is gonna happen again this time.
We need a better camera.
We literally switched cameras. This is a different camera, and it is doing the same thing to us.
Technology hates us.
Love it. So the American Chupacabra is much more like a dog or a coyote or a fox. It's quadruped, and it still kills small animals, chickens, roosters, sheep, goats, like small, basically defenseless animals. It never goes after anything big like a cow.
Yeah, that'd be a lot.
And it doesn't attack humans.
Oh, it doesn't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It seems to be afraid of humans. Most of like the Chupacabra sightings, the Chupacabra will flee from the human.
Okay.
But the Southern American Chupacabra has kind of been debunked a bit. Not completely, which is why it's still a cryptid. You can't debunk these things completely.
Right.
But the Texas Chupacabra is most of them have been found to just be coyotes with a very bad case of mange.
Yeah, just like fucking coyotes that are hurting really bad.
And that's a shame. But yeah, they've had these skeletons and they claimed that they were Chupacabras or whatever. There's a really famous case of this where one lady captured or killed a Chupacabra, severed its head, and then like dramatic. Froze its skeleton.
So dramatic.
But I think, and again, I wish I had had more time to research this. I think that one was tested and it was literally just a coyote.
Yeah.
So a lot of these end up just being dogs or coyotes with very bad cases of mange.
It could be what's it called, rabies too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the mange is specifically like what makes it look like
hairless
and like gross and like not a
dog
or a coyote, like a regular coyote.
Right.
But so the Puerto Rican Chupacabra is the one in question that has never really been like seen or caught or killed or captured or anything.
Got it.
And it's really this dude Benjamin Radford. I want to make sure I'm getting his name right. Yeah, he considers himself as like the Chupacabra debunker. He went and found Madeline Tolentino. And
Chupacabra connoisseur.
Yeah. He says he spent like 5 years looking into the Chupacabra. He went to Puerto Rico, he went to Guatemala, Costa Rica, all these places looking for the Chupacabra, trying to talk to anyone who had an encounter with the Chupacabra. So eventually he tracked down Madeline Tolentino, who was the lady with the original sighting, and he asked her if she had ever seen the movie Species. Which came out in 1994 or 5. God, I wish I had all these dates and shit.
We don't need dates. We got way too many dates last time.
And anyway.
We had enough dates for like a whole other episode. Dates don't matter.
Oh, they so do.
Okay. We disagree a lot.
But this date specifically matters because he claims that she saw this Species movie. And the alien, I looked it up, in the Species movie is very similar. It has like talon-like hands. It's a biped. It has spikes going down its back.
I probably had like a weird ass dream.
So he thinks she saw the movie. It influenced her to see the Chupacabra. And the rest is history. But yeah, so the Chupacabra is one of the newest cryptids. So it's definitely... the dude, Ben Radford, he admits that he's like... He always closes his little essays and he's like, if there's a Chupacabra found tomorrow, I'll eat my words and I'll add a chapter to my book.
Oh, okay.
Great outlook, but...
Love that. The dedication is key.
So overall... Thoughts on Chupacabra? Anything you want to add?
Not necessarily. I mean, like...
Anything you've heard specifically?
No,
like, do you have any experiences with?
No, just more of like the... I thought the leg thing was weird. What I heard about them, at least.
For sure. I'll put a picture up of like the skeletons because they do. They have these like weird ass long ass back legs. That's part of the... I think that's part of the legend of the Puerto Rican Chupacabra was that it can like jump these really far distances.
Oh yeah, it can jump fences.
Yeah.
So it can get into like chicken coops and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, okay, I guess like the only thing is, do you believe in them?
No, I think they're the... I think they're the coyote with mange in Texas, and then I think that the other one... was sort of just like a made up story. Yeah. It was either like a hallucination or a money grab, and I mean, we can't rule out both. But the other thing is, it's supposed to like drain these animals of blood.
That's the thing that gets me. It's like,
and it
okay,
doesn't.
Yeah, like the only thing, unless it's like a large bat. Like, you know what I mean? But bats, they don't drain blood.
They found these animals that are supposedly Chupacabra victims, and while some of the blood is drained, a lot of it has just like... Because the heart's not pumping blood anymore, so like the top part or like the blood all pools in one area, just like gravity pulls all the blood to like the bottom.
So it wasn't
one
drained
area.
of blood.
And it's like, the face or like the neck or like whatever of this animal looks like it has no blood in it, and it doesn't, but it's not because it was sucked out. It's because it literally is just pooled into one spot at the bottom of the body.
Bled out.
But like
I guess like the puncture wounds are like the biggest part.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there's still blood in the bodies.
They're just placed differently.
The Chupacabra is supposed to bleed these animals dry, and it doesn't.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And that's a big problem. The other big problem with the Chupacabra for me is that none of the stories are consistent. True. Like, some Chupacabra can fly, some can like
that's
run really
wild.
fast. So like, I'm sorry, like At
least keep your story straight. Most aliens look alike. At least we can Bet on that.
Right. So how about you? Yes or no on the Chupacabra?
No, yeah. It's gonna be a no for me.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into number 2. Our number 2 cryptid is Macaulay Mbembe.
I have no idea what this is.
I love this guy. Macaulay Mbembe is supposedly a dinosaur that has survived since prehistoric times in the jungles and lakes and rivers of the Congo. And it is an extremely aggressive animal.
Such a mood.
Such that it will attack and kill anything that's in its territory, including humans, including hippopotami. Specifically hippopotami, weirdly. Is it hippopotami? It is, right? Not hippopotamuses?
That's a lot of S's. I don't know.
Anyway, it doesn't eat these animals or people. It will often just, like, drown them or just, like, rip them to shreds, basically.
Savage.
But it just eats plants. It's an herbivore.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of brontosaurus shaped, but it's smaller, but it has that, like, long neck. It's supposed to be able to get up to 50 to 70 feet in, like, from, like, nose to tail.
So, like, Nessie, but more badass.
Yeah. And...
Does it look like Nessie?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really? Maybe they're related.
Some people think.
Like a badass
some people
Nessie?
think they're, like, a similar kind of, like, holdover dinosaur from dinosaurs.
Does it live in water?
Yeah. It's both. It'll come on land, but it lives mostly in, like, lakes and rivers. But this guy doesn't get very much attention in the mainstream cryptozoology canon, and I don't know why, because it's one of the most studied cryptids in history. People have been going on quests to find this thing since the early 1900s.
Damn.
Yeah, so the first guy who did it, it was like the early 1900s. He was like a big game hunter, and he wanted to kill one. He never found one. I mean, no one's ever found
probably
one,
a good thing.
to be fair.
Fucking kills things.
But, yeah, so people have been going on expeditions since the early 1900s, but in the 1980s, it heated up a lot, and this was my favorite one. I just wrote down a couple, but this was my favorite one. This guy named William Gibbons led a British expedition to find it in the 1980s. He actually led 2.
Okay.
And he is a young Earth creationist, which is one of those people who thinks the Earth is like 6,000 years old.
I thought you were going to say flat, and I was going to be like, we are not doing this right now on this podcast. It's a whole other episode.
Very much so. No, a young Earth creationist is a Christian, like a fundamentalist Christian who believes... Christian. Almost always.
Okay.
But...
No offense.
Who believes that... No, full offense to young Earth creationists.
Go off.
Who believes that the Earth are 6,000 years old and that dinosaurs were put in the fossil record by Satan to trick us into believing the Earth is billions of years old, and that only the faithful believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old because they believe. Anyway, he wanted to find this dinosaur to prove that, oh, hey, look, humans and dinosaurs walk the Earth at the same time. The Earth is 6,000 years old. But he led 2 expeditions into the Congo, and they were both disasters, and I just find that hilarious. The other really hilarious one was in 2012. These 2 dudes.
So early.
So recent. There was literally an expedition to find this guy, Macaulay Mbembe, last year, 2018. But the one in 2012 is so funny because these 2 guys, Stephen McCullough and Sam Newton, started a Kickstarter, raised $29,000
Oh my God, no. Honestly,
raised $29,000 to go find Macaulay Mbembe. They flew into the Congo, and by the time they got to the Congo, they had already spent all their money, so they just came home.
Can we do that? Can we literally be like, wait, $30,000 GoFundMe, we'll find you Nessie, and then never actually find it. Because, like, all these ideas, they're coming to me.
Oh my God.
People would invest for, like, fun.
I know.
They would be like, fuck yeah, I want you to go find Nessie.
Yeah.
Wait, let's do it.
For sure.
Like, that's how we promote this next podcast.
That's so amazing.
Help
on
us find
Kickstarter.
Nessie.
We'll do it. We're going to get to Nessie, by the way. Love Nessie.
Yeah, love Nessie.
So Macaulay Mbembe, basically just like this ancient dinosaur. It's been in the cryptid lexicon for over 100 years, which is really cool. It doesn't get any love because it's an African cryptid. And look, Eurocentrism is whatever, but all these American and European cryptids get the love. And I feel like this guy just deserves as much love because he's one of the most sought after cryptids ever.
Yeah, I'm really bummed I didn't know about him.
Yeah, he's really dope. The other thing is that the Congolese people, or at least the like current or recent populations of the Congo have started to think of him more as like a spirit instead of a physical thing.
Like a god?
Maybe.
Almost?
Like
Yeah.
some sort of deity, maybe not even a deity, but just like a protective spirit, maybe.
Okay, that makes sense.
But prior to that, like in the early 1900s, they did think of it as physical. I think there's one story about them killing one and eating it, but then everyone who ate from it died, like from like being poisoned. But that's Macaulay Mbembe. I think there's a possibility he could exist, but how about you?
I mean, like, I want him to exist because he sounds badass. Right? Like, just kills everything that comes into his area, but he's like a fucking herbivore.
Yeah. Right?
Mood. Fucking mood. Me. Just kidding. I eat meat. But...
the killing people part. Yeah.
For another podcast, another time.
I would love for him to be real. I guess there's a possibility.
Also just because I just want dinosaurs to be real right now, but not like a lot of them, but just like some.
Anyway, you should go look him up because he's really dope. There's a whole bunch of other expeditions that went on. Some of them are like legit. Bye. We're going to go to commercial.
Hold on, let me...
That's Macaulay Mbembe. We'll be back and onto another one in a second. We're going.
Okay,
yeah.
Now I can announce it?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, camera died. Second of all, my sweater says extraterrestrial highway because I got this at Air 51, just in case anybody was jealous and needed to know.
It's yeah.
Okay, just, it's a child size, just so everyone knows. That's why there's no strings.
That's amazing.
They didn't have my size.
Okay, next cryptid we're going to do is Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil's so cool.
Jersey Devil's wild.
Yeah, right?
He does a lot. He's a lot.
I don't know that much of the lore. You're going to have to fill me in, but let me give the background of Jersey Devil. So, this lady in the 18th century, I'm not even sure if she's a fictional person or like a real historical person,
Probably
but
not.
Jane Leeds, or Mother Leeds, had 12 kids, and when she got pregnant with the 13th one, she knew there was no way she was going to be able to provide for it. And so some stories say she cursed it. Some stories say she made a pact with the devil to give her kid away to the devil. Anyway, either way.
What a weird thing. Like, people usually make a deal with the devil to get something good.
Right? Not to just get rid of a child.
Not to just get rid of something. Yeah, like, what? Didn't even ask for something in return. Just like freedom of a 13th child. Like, what?
Yes.
Sick.
Anyway, so this thing came out, and God, I had this. Goat head, bat wings, horns, and claws. So something of a chimera. But yeah, he's responsible for a lot of lore on the East Coast.
Yeah, he's from Jersey.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
It does. The hockey team is named after him.
Yeah.
I don't know any specific stories about Jersey Devil. I just know a lot of things get attributed to him on the East Coast.
I mean, all I've heard about the Jersey Devil is, and I could be completely confusing here with Mothman, so don't quote me, but somebody will be driving in the middle of the night and then like all of a sudden he just like comes out of nowhere and like fucks you up and like stops your car and then like he jumps out or jumps on your car and then like fucks you up.
No, I don't think that's Mothman.
That's Jersey Devil, right?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. Yeah, Mothman is a completely different thing, but I thought I was getting the two mixed up, but I thought that I could have swore that was Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
That's what I knew of him.
That's
the story I heard. That is
scary. What I did read was that a lot of sightings of like other like whatever, people will see something, and if they would normally be like, oh, it was a Sasquatch. If they're in Jersey, they'll be like, oh, it was a Jersey Devil.
Oh, it's very selective to the state.
Yeah. I don't know. That's
yeah,
just
I mean,
what
I've never seen it. So I can't say.
Well, if you haven't, I haven't. I've never been to Jersey.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't heard much about it.
Never.
No, honestly, no one really talks about it. Like, it's not something that's... I'm not from Jersey, but... I'm near it, and no one's really mentioned it. I think I have the book Weird New England, and it mentions it, but that's about it. I mean, people don't really talk about it. People talk about like melon heads and shit there, and like frog people.
It's interesting that people don't talk about it, because
you would think they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
That in a weird way sort of lends it credibility to me.
It does?
Yeah.
Why?
That people don't talk about it.
It's almost like Voldemort. Like, is that what you're trying to say? Like, don't talk about him.
Maybe. I don't think that's what I was trying to say, but in a sense, it's sort of like a fear of it would keep you from talking about it. Maybe. I don't. That's similar in a similar vein to Voldemort, I guess. But
yeah, I guess I just don't. People just don't talk about it because it's not really.
Yeah. I mean, Jersey Devil suffers from the same problem as Chupacabra, that no one can pin down
what it is.
Exactly.
Or what it looks like, 100%. The stories are all over the place of what it looks like. Yeah. So you can't really...
Yeah, even in this one thing I have open, it says goat or horse head.
Yeah,
bat
that's the weirdest one.
Like whatever, wings, and so yeah, there's like, not really a consensus on this one either, which is unfortunate, because it is kind of a cryptid all-star. Maybe not all-star. Star. Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely known.
Definitely. Especially on the East Coast. Believe in him?
No.
Yeah. Me either. It's too much.
He just doesn't... I don't know. He doesn't do much for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't... Like, if he was real, it wouldn't make or break anything for me. I'd just be like, oh, that sucks for Jersey. No, too much.
Poor Jersey. Sorry if any of you are from Jersey.
Sorry if we're just offensive in general.
Shitting
we're not trying to be. We make fun of ourselves more than anything. We're not just... It just does naturally. Ooh, okay. We're like, oh, California, trash. Like, love how we're just gonna like all go under water in a year. It's fine.
Oh my god,
we're fine.
Yeah, these earthquakes are no joke. All right, so we don't believe in Jersey Devil. Sorry, no. Jersey. Mermaids.
Oh yes.
Mermaids are great.
Oh yeah. I'll let you start because I got a lot to say.
So I don't. Is there a delineation between mermaids and sirens? Are they the same thing?
Sirens are supposed to be like the evil versions of mermaids. They're supposed to be like the mermaids, and there's like supposed to be.
So like mermaids are nice and sirens are evil. What are
they're supposed to be like loud and like. That's what I heard of a siren is I was like they're like the evil mermaids.
Well, sirens in Greek mythology are. I mean, I don't know that I'd call them evil, but they're certainly not good.
Yeah.
Sirens in Greek mythology would like lure ships to like crash onto rocks.
Yeah. They're like the troublemakers of mermaids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Essentially, I don't know.
There's a lot of mermaids are one of the cryptids that date back to a lot of mythology. Like there is a lot of mythology around mermaids.
Scriptures of them.
This one guy, and I do want to get his name right. It's not a hard name. I just don't remember it. Matt Simon.
To your name, but like it's so close to your name.
Matt Simon wrote this great piece exploring the history of mermaid lore for Wired.com. You should check it out. But he dug up all this mermaid lore. Basically, the first mer person was the Babylonian god Ea. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. It's literally just E-A. But this Babylonian god was the god of the sea, and so he would protect his people from any like threats that came from the sea, but also he was like god of the arts and sciences, so he would teach all his people arts and sciences.
Wait, who's the ruler of like so-called Atlantis? Poseidon?
Poseidon was the god who created Atlantis, but the ruler of Atlantis was Atlas. So not Atlas the Titan.
Got it.
There was a king named Atlas, and he was the ruler of Atlantis.
Okay.
But Ea was, a Babylonian god. He was actually the inspiration for Poseidon. The Greeks stole him from the Babylonians. Okay. And then, so he is the first. And then the one who is the first, like, mermaid comes from Syrian mythology, which I didn't even know there was Syrian mythology, but she was the goddess of fertility. And so I think that's how it got, like, its sexy vibe. Like, the mermaid got its sexy vibe.
Like, there's, like, topless with seashells.
Yeah, the
like
worst.
Whoever would think a fish is attractive just really needs to get their shit together. Like, like why? It's like saying putting coconuts on like a monkey and it would be fucking hot.
I feel like I've been asked that question, like if I would rather have sex with a mermaid with like top half woman and bottom half fish or vice versa.
Wait,
and my answer was always like no, because I don't want to fuck a fish.
But yeah, either way, you're with a fish.
And also, like
the smell. Like, oh, was that, were you not going to say that?
I wasn't. I was just going to say it's just biologically impossible.
Oh, so you were going with logic. Okay.
Amazing.
Fair.
But yeah, no, there's nothing appealing about...
Yeah, no, there's nothing. No. Like, oh, so you want to just, like, screw a fish head?
So you just want to like make out with someone and get dragged to the bottom of the sea and drown? That's what they do.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
They, like, pull you down. They're like, you come with me.
Is that's sirens, or is that all of them?
I think that was sirens. Okay. I don't think that's mermaids. I don't know.
Mermaids are nice, like, all the time?
I've never met a mermaid, but I can imagine they're probably nicer than a siren. Sirens just sound awful. I don't know. But
I think the original sirens were just, like, cursed.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, in Greek mythology. I can't remember it exactly, but I think they were just cursed humans.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but like I said, they date back throughout forever.
Yeah.
So much so that like our historical figures have like sightings or whatever. Specifically, I read John Smith and Christopher Columbus. So I mean, I don't know if those are your sources, if John Smith and Christopher Columbus are your sources,
reevaluate your sources. Okay, but like on a side note, I believe in mermaids. I do. Maybe not 100%, but there's a percentage. More than I believe in unicorns.
I believe... Look. The sea, the ocean, it's just so big and so unexplored. I can't completely rule out the possibility, But basically a mermaid would have to be like an early hominid that moved back into the water, didn't get killed by all the things in the water, and evolved into a mermaid.
I mean, what if it didn't go in? What if it just was already there?
But then why is it hominid? Why is it human-like?
Because I don't know. It's like, what, a walrus is a descendant of a dog?
Wait, what?
Yes. Google it.
I will.
Google
Not
it.
right now.
But yeah, walruses are like they're relative of dogs, but they're like sea dogs. And then polar bears, normal bears then turned into polar bears.
Because
aquatic
we moved
bears.
Yeah,
so I mean,
environment does change a lot. I can't imagine early hominids
going into the water.
Look, I can't imagine a creature evolving to be hominid-like in the water if it didn't split off from us at some point. If it did split off from us at some point, I don't think it could have survived in the ocean.
I just feel
with all the disadvantages it would have.
But what if it's just not human? Like, what if it just has human traits, but it's not human-like? For example, like dolphins. They're extremely smart. They're mammals that they are the only other animals that commit suicide. They can actually swim to the bottom of wherever they're at and just don't come up for air.
And they beach themselves.
And they beach themselves on purpose.
Beach themselves too. I don't know if whales do it on purpose.
I don't think they do it on purpose.
Okay.
They beach themselves because they try to swim too close to shore and then...
It stopped. It stopped. Did it stop?
What
I think it stopped.
How?
I don't know, but do you see it? I don't see it.
Did it move? Has it been like this the whole time?
No, it just stopped. We're going to be right back. Back.
Okay, back to what I was saying about mermaids. I was saying that dolphins are a lot like us in the sense of they are the only other mammals that can choose to commit suicide by not holding their breath, but just not coming up for air consciously. Sure. And wanting to die.
That's so sad.
And it's super sad. And they are the only other things that rape. they can rape each other and other things.
That's wild.
And they have intercourse for fun instead of just doing it to, procreate.
Yeah, I love dolphins, but
I just feel like if something like that is super similar to us and that smart, why can't we have something like that but a little bit more humanoid?
Because it would be an apex predator. And if it were an apex predator, we would have seen it. Because it would have numbers. Like a dolphin or a shark. I guess dolphins aren't apex predators, but it would at least be... There would at least have to be enough of them to keep a species going. You can't just keep a species going with 7 mer people.
Okay, but people all over the world do say they see them, but there's just no proof. I don't know. I mean, I believe that just how outer space is so massive, I feel like the ocean is so massive, and there's
I think it's like 80% unexplored, but...
Yeah, and so there has to be some percentage of, we're finding new species every day. How did we lose track of a giant squid for years? But we can't find one mermaid.
That's what I'm saying.
But I feel like that's logical. There's this giant freaking squid.
Yeah, but eventually we found it again. We found all these fish, and we can find them again. We found dolphins and whales and all these rare forms of sharks. And we can't find one fucking mermaid.
We can't find one mermaid, but I mean, I feel like that. But I feel like if they're smart,
they wouldn't let us.
They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, right.
They would be hiding from us because they're humans suck. Valid. But you know what I mean? It's just aliens are we're not fucking with you until...
Do you think they're aliens?
Oh, do you think the aliens just came down there we're just gonna live in your waters? I mean,
kind of dope. Is that even
kind of down?
That much more far-fetched than
An alien?
Then it like it.
I mean, I believe that there's different types of humanoids in every spectrum of outer space, underwater, like all over, everywhere, like some sort of human trait somewhere. And sure. I don't know. I just believe in them. I think that they're really cool, and I feel like that's. I don't think they're attractive. I don't think that they look good. And I don't think they look human necessarily, but they do have human traits.
Sure. Okay, that's fair. I mean, they definitely don't exist in, like, the folklore sense where they're, like, Ariel.
Oh, God, no. They're not, like... If anything, they wouldn't have any hair. Because fish don't have hair.
What a concept.
Triggered.
No, but I mean, yeah, you're right. They wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense. It's not hydrodynamic. It's why swimmers wear caps and shave their whole bodies. Yeah, I'll. If I were putting on a scale, I'd give it like a 4 out of 10.
Of belief,
like it's possible, and
I'd say whatever. I'd say like an 8 for me.
That's high.
I totally think that there's something in the water that is closer knit to us than dolphins. I feel like they're pretty close to us.
DNA-wise, I feel like they're like, I don't know.
DNA, I don't know, but I'm talking about like
DNA with a lot of random shit that you wouldn't think. But
mind-wise, like,
oh yeah,
you know, like
no, for sure, they're
the
very
way
smart,
that they
very
act.
intelligent. I said earlier that I think if they had ever developed tools, they would be somewhat advanced. I don't know if they'd be building things or like making computers or a dolphin internet or anything.
Dolphin internet. Love that. I'm sure that's like called like what, echolocation?
I don't think that's the same thing.
It's not?
As the internet?
I mean, like, it's some sort of networking that they do, right?
Sure.
To find each other. Instead of Instagram, they find each other through like sounds.
Oh, follow me on Echo.
Oh, a concept. How come all of our best ideas come at 3 a.m?
Right. Why do we always record podcasts at 3 a.m?
This really has got to stop. I'm like dressed for bed.
Okay, we're gonna move on from mermaids before our camera dies again, but we're doing great.
Okay. So you don't believe?
I don't believe.
That's okay. It's fine. We disagree all the time. This is normal.
Let's go to Nessie.
Love Nessie.
I love
Nessie.
Do you want to give the background on Nessie?
Nessie is a would it be an aquatic? Yeah, aquatic mythological creature.
Well,
is it mythological?
No. So cryptids are strictly, they're not mythological, but mythological implies that it's been disproven.
Okay. So no, it's not mythological.
It's just a
cryptid. But it's like a tale, I guess, that in Scotland, this specific Nessie, apparently there's like tons of Nessies or like
okay, no, this one is Nessie.
This one is Nessie.
And
the Loch Ness monster is Nessie.
Like Loch Ness type monsters in other lakes, but this is the original.
Yes, in Scotland.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be this brontosaurus looking thing that is essentially in the water, just like the one that you...
Not dissimilar to Macaulay and Bembe. They are often... Well, when I was reading on Macaulay and Bembe, they did refer to Nessie.
Yeah, because it sounds like almost like super similar. But apparently Nessie's like... What I know of Nessie is that it's not aggressive. That I know of. But, yeah. I mean, that's pretty much just this... I like aquatic... dinosaur-looking thing that lives in Loch Ness. Yeah. And people claim to see specifically its neck a lot, and like its little hump of like a back in photos, and I think it's super cool.
I think it's super cool too.
I don't know why. I just think it's really cool.
So, 2 things about Nessie real quick. The first is I forget where I saw this, and it wasn't even while I was doing research for this, but someone was talking about, and the National Park Authority is in Scotland basically had to put out a statement, but it was like how we're gonna raid Area 51. They were like, raid Loch Ness, find Nessie.
Oh my god, but yes. But like find Nessie.
And the National Park Service or whatever it is in Scotland. I'm very sorry that I don't have these things
details
to tell you. But yeah, they were basically like, hey, Loch Ness is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't go searching for Nessie unless you're a very experienced scuba diver.
Yes.
You will drown.
Because she lives, apparently it's a she.
Yeah.
Because it's Nessie. We don't know.
Did I say he? I'm sorry.
I don't know. Apparently, I mean, if it can't be just one living there forever, so apparently I think there's probably more. Okay. But it lives like super low at the bottom of the water. So it doesn't come out all the time.
No.
It just kind of like you see it when you see it, and when you don't, it's under the water at all times.
Yes. So last year, an Australian scientist named Neil Gemmell, and I'm sure I'm pronouncing his last name wrong, but he and his team took a bunch of water samples from all different depths of Loch Ness. And this summer, he hasn't released his findings yet, by the way, but this summer he's been sort of teasing it. And I've read two separate, like there was a press release in June about how he had a surprising discovery about the Loch Ness monster, about the possibility of the existence of the Loch Ness monster.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks ago, he announced that he was going to be announcing his discovery this month in September, and that he promises to, basically there are I think he says, and again, I wish I had more time for this, there are 4 main theories of the Loch Ness monster, and he's saying that 3 of them, his research will pretty much prove false, not completely, but
right,
because what can you definitively prove false? And then it'll really support
one theory.
One. So that's coming this month. And,
that's fucking sick.
And I don't know.
That's actually like great timing.
Right?
Like go us.
By accident. Completely by accident.
But yeah, love Nessie. I think she is dope.
Totally.
My friends actually, my nickname in Portugal is actually Nessie.
Is it?
Yeah, my friends call me Nessie. Whenever I go to the airport, they have a sign that says Nessie. Just because I'm obsessed with Loch Ness, and they just start calling me Nessie.
Yeah.
Because I'd always be like, hey guys, let's just hop over to Scotland real quick.
Amazing.
And they're just like, okay. So literally, we were like, next raid is Nessie.
Yes.
I want to go Scotland just to get a Nessie shirt.
Yes.
I have a Nessie ladle.
Love Nessie. I'll believe in Nessie just because I love her so much. I'll give her a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a yes for me.
Cool. Is that our first degree?
Yeah, it's a first degree.
No, because we agreed on a no earlier.
That's true. We also agreed on Bigfoot sucking.
Yeah, that's true.
No one cares about Bigfoot.
Sorry, Bigfoot fans.
Well, I mean, we don't, but you guys might.
We really don't. If y'all want to find me a Bigfoot corpse, I'll be in.
Yeah, give us proof and then we're good.
I'm in.
But like, what does Bigfoot bring to the table?
Big feet.
Word.
Okay, we have one more.
Yes.
And we're leaving the realm of creatures a little bit. Vampires.
Okay. I'll let you go off on this one.
Okay. I'm pretty sure you all know what a vampire is, but the lore, a lot of it comes from the Dracula novel, one of the most famous characterizations of vampires. Dracula was based on Vlad the Impaler, who was a real historical figure, a military general in the Ottoman Empire, or sacked the Ottoman Empire.
Serial killer.
Yeah. No, totally. But genius military strategist. The initial reason why they thought Vlad could turn into a bat was in the middle of a battle, he pulled his troops back to get the sun into his enemy's eyes, and he kept retreating so he would get the sun in his enemy's eyes, and then they woke up a bat cave or something, and then all these bats started flying from where they were like, towards the enemy. The bats all like bit the enemy and infected them with this disease. And because bats just carry disease. They're just like carriers of disease.
They just are a disease. Love for bats though.
And it looked like to the opposing army like these bats were like coming from
him.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and so that's where the mythology of that came from.
Squad.
But yeah, he's like a real life person, and he got his name from his favorite way of killing people was to impale them.
Yes.
On stakes.
Yep.
And
apparently there is like a little wise tale situation that says that he would then drink the blood of the people that he killed. True. He would have like parties so he could kill people, which is savage AF. Yeah. I'm like, Halloween's coming. Sorry if you're listening to this at night.
Right? Yeah, there are other bloodsuckers in other lore, but this is the main one, the Dracula lore. We are, like I said, going to leave the realm of creatures just a little bit because I don't believe any actual vampires exist.
Right, yeah.
I don't think there's any humans out there that can turn into a bat.
Would be cool.
Yeah.
So it's like a werewolf, essentially.
Yeah.
It would be cool.
Are werewolves cryptids? They weren't on any of the lists I looked at.
Oh. I didn't even think about that.
Anyway.
Kind of offended for werewolves, though, because they just completely exiled them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are human vampires.
Yeah, I heard about these.
It's a really actually kind of large subculture.
It's like a religion almost.
In a lot of cities. And they are cool. I know. Did it die, though? Did it die?
I don't know. I'm about to check.
We'll be back.
BRB. Go.
Okay, we're back. We're gonna... I'm, like, barely in the frame.
Oh, sorry. I moved it.
Okay, cool.
We just keep moving every time.
Amazing. We need to finish this before the camera dies.
Go.
Okay. Vampires. Real vampires.
Yes.
The only ones I really dug into were the New Orleans Vampire Association, and they're really fucking cool. I cursed.
I've been cursing this whole time. I just gave up. I'm letting you just bleep
it. They have been doing like reach outs to the homeless community in New Orleans since Hurricane Katrina, like every year.
Oh.
They're like philanthropic. They're so cool. But the practice of real vampirism is there's a clinical diagnosis called Renfield syndrome, but it's really a psychological affliction where you feel as though you need to drink blood, but it can manifest physical symptoms where a person who has Renfield syndrome will go for a long time without drinking blood and they will get physically weak until they literally drink blood. And it usually has to be human blood. The way this is set up,
disease?
It's not a disease. And I don't want to call it
illness.
It's not. I think it's considered a mental disorder
or a placebo.
That's not right. The problem with drinking blood, right, is that you can't filter out all of the iron in your blood, so you'll eventually get iron toxicity. Mm-hmm. But these people don't experience that, and some people think it's because they suffer from severe anemia, which is what gives them the craving for the blood in the first place. But usually these people start out just like they'll get like a cut. And you know how like when you're a kid, you'll get a cut? Or like even now, I'll get like a cut and I'll immediately like want to like clean it off or like whatever with my tongue, which is super unsanitary. But like it's just like an instinct, you know? And especially when you're a kid, you're like...
I always knew to stop the wound to like, I guess, put pressure on it.
Yeah. So that's how most of these people start drinking blood, is they start with their own blood.
And then they go from there.
Yeah. And And so then it evolved eventually into these communities where it's completely like willing donors, and they get blood tested to make sure they're not carrying any bloodborne illnesses. They use like really clean needles. It's totally sterile. It's totally safe. And then they don't actually feed like mouth to skin.
Yeah. It's like blood bags.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's totally safe and sterile and not creepy because it's completely consensual.
Right.
And
people swear that they don't eat food.
There are some of them who swear they just exist on blood, and then there are some who are a lot more realistic about it, and they're like, we do drink blood, but we are humans and we have human needs, and so we eat real food.
Right.
And we're normal people. Spectrum. We just also drink blood. And there's even the other, like the furthest end of the spectrum where like I self-identify as a vampire, but I don't drink blood. I consume energy from other people, that kind of vampire.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking.
And the community is still intertwined. Like you can have I guess they're called psychic vampire and like a blood vampire, and they're in the same community. Like they can be in the same community. I think even some of the psychic vampires are like feeders for
I know what you're talking
for the blood
about.
vampires. But it's this really interesting and like deep community, and this guy, John Edgar Browning, literally wrote his like dissertation, or I don't know if it was a dissertation. I don't think he's a doctor, but his thesis, let's say, on the New Orleans vampire community and one in Buffalo, and compared the two. And you can find his research on the New Orleans Vampire Association website if you just Google New Orleans Vampire Association. But I can probably link John Edgar Browning's study specifically in the description. But he had studied basically online as much as he could about this community, and then eventually in the late 2000s, close to the turn of the decade, like 2010-ish, he just went and found a lot of them and talked to them. And he's not done with this research. He says it's like an ongoing process. It's really, really an interesting kind of subject. I'm obviously not going to ask you if you believe these people are real or not, but tell me your thoughts on them.
I mean, I don't think that they're as crazy as people have made them out to be.
Sure.
Because, I mean...
You hear the words, like, real vampire, and you're...
Yeah, no, I mean, I believe in witchcraft. My camera totally died.
We're just going to finish this...
Okay, fuck it.
On audio, guys. I'll spice in some cool...
Oh, vampire footage.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I totally believe in witchcraft, and I myself am very spiritual. So I definitely think that they're no different than... It's like if you believe in a certain type of spirituality, theirs is, they drink blood to survive, and they live off of Earth's energy to survive. And that's not very different from a lot of spiritualities. And I think that that's okay. And I mean, they're not hurting anybody. They're not harming anyone. If it was like something that they were hurting people and they were like crazy.
Yeah.
And like out killing people for blood, I'd be like, yo, relax. But the fact that they're not.
Yeah. And they're completely drawn into themselves. Yeah. They actually are literally reaching out and providing philanthropy and like help to people.
Yeah. It almost sounds like the darker you go with stuff, the more light you find, which is kind of cool. And then there's things that should be light, and then they're dark as shit. We won't get into that. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, things that people say are for the greater good, and dark stuff happens behind closed doors.
Totally.
So I don't know. Do I believe in like people turning into bats?
Hell
no. But do I believe that these people might live off of blood? Yeah, people live off of weird shit. There's people that are allergic to sunlight. There's people that, can't eat anything. I'm allergic to a lot of things. And so, food-wise, I shouldn't.
Real quick, I want to delineate this community from another community that's really weird. There's a culture of like, it's risen recently of just like carnivore culture, where they'll only eat meat.
Whoa.
And like nothing else.
Okay.
And then this carnivore culture also has like a cannibalistic aspect to it, where there's certain, and I don't want to bring any of them up because I don't want to give them any sort of platform, but there's certain people who are like preaching that they are, basically, I think they're trying to set up their followers to be like they are sort of like blood donors in a way, but not in like a sanitary way. They're doing it like very grossly and horrifically in like a meat eater carnivore kind of way in terms of like
that's weird.
It's cannibalism basically. And I want to delineate these like real vampires from that. They are not that.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I've even watched documentaries about like this specifically this one guy, I forget his name, but yeah, he had like a whole squad of people, and he would just be like, yeah, we like feed from each other willingly, and we're all clean. And I was like, hey, whatever floats your boat makes you happy and you're doing good.
If you're not harming other people,
do you? Cool. But no, I don't think I don't feel like real vampires turn into bats, just like I don't believe in werewolves.
Yeah.
But I would believe in mermaids. I believe in stuff that's already there. I don't believe things just like morph into something else. You know, with like a snap of a finger.
That's fair. Cool. That's all the cryptids we had.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah. I will link as many of the sources as I looked up into the description as I can. And the other thing, I do want to shout out this podcast. If you want to go deeper into this, there's a great podcast. I think it's on most platforms. It's called The Cryptid Keeper. It's these two lovely ladies, and they cover, I think, everything we covered in a lot more depth. And they are really great and really funny. So if you want more podcasts like this, because we probably won't come back to this topic, at least for a while.
Until there's more evidence. Maybe we'll come back for Nessie.
I'm sure we will. It'll probably be a minute, though. We have a couple planned that you think you're really going to like. A 2-parter coming.
This one was really sporadic.
Yeah.
This was like literally 2 days ago. We're like, you know what? We're already on aliens. Let's just keep going. Because our other setup is not ready.
And we hope it will be. But we're going to try to launch into that 2-parter one way or the other. We're really excited about it. And we have some really cool episodes coming up for you guys. We hope we'll be on our new set next time. We're going to try to figure our camera issues out. Please don't.
We usually, like, I feel like we just need a camera person. So this is our issue. We're trying to do everything ourselves, and it's just failing.
Well, hopefully the audio sounds better this time. We recorded it on 2 separate tracks.
Yeah.
So, step by step. Mm-hmm. Thank you again for joining us for our podcast. This is the #Wild Podcast.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anything else to say.
Yeah.
Follow us on our socials. Leave a like or a 5-star if you're watching this on YouTube or iTunes or wherever we have it. And thank you so much. All of our socials are at #WildPod, so you can follow us there.
Yeah. Subscribe.
Please
That'd be great. Comment.
Oh my God, please
feedback.
Comment.
We need feedback.
Please
Everything
tell us,
counts.
leave us a YouTube comment, message us on Instagram. We will respond.
Text us because a lot of our friends are watching this.
Yeah, right. Well,
everything
we're not watching
counts.
Anymore. But
well, yeah, right now they're not watching anything. You're just listening to us.
Anyway, that's us, guys. #Wild. I'm Matt.
I'm Susanna.
We will see you next time.
Bye.